So I really blew it when I was a kid, like 9 years old. This was one of the most shameful things in my whole life. I look back on it, I'm like, you think like, what could you possibly do? Well, you'll see. And so I had a friend, Freddie Rowland, when I was growing up. And Freddie's parents just went overboard for Christmas, man. I mean, I would come in and the tree would be like half up with presents. And I'd always walk in and I'd be like, man, your parents are the best. And so I must have mentioned something to my father or something because he's a competitive guy. I got back to that Christmas and the tree was up to here, with presents. And I was like, that's awesome. So my brother and I, Dan, we just went to town on those presents and we got great ones and small ones. And it was awesome. We were just back. My heart was so full. I was like, this is fantastic. It was great. And because I wasn't really good at sarcasm when I was 9, I'm really good at it now. But when I wasn't not very good at it at 9, I said this. I said, is this all there is? And both of my parents, I could see, they didn't get angry. They got defeated. They were like, because I think they really stretched to do that. And I just remember thinking like, you are a jerk. It was awful. And I think sometimes the Father's like, I've given you gift after gift after gift after gift after gift. I've blessed you so much. And you're in the background going, is this all there is? I think our place is to honor God and acknowledge that you are the giver of all good things. That you are the one who has generated all the good stuff in my life. All good gifts come down from the Father of lights, the Bible says. And we place him in that context, in the proper place of our life, instead of saying, I want more. But maybe you've already been given everything you're going to be given until you pass the test of honor. Verse 18. But the man who had received one bag went off, dug a hole in the ground. Who does this? Dug a hole in the ground and hid his master's money. After a long time, the master of those servants returned, settled accounts with them. So now the master's back. He's like, what did you do with my money? What'd you do? Well, first of all, I want you to see that this guy responds differently than the first two. He doesn't multiply anything. He holds on to it. Why? Because he, just like many of us, we're afraid and we have a scarcity mentality. We're afraid that God will not provide for us. And as a result of that, we just hold on to what we have. Because you're like, I don't know what the president's gonna do. He's gonna say some crazy thing this week, or that guy last time was in the White House. He's gonna do something wacky, whatever it is. And you're just like, I'm unsure, everything's scary. You gotta take your eyes off of that and put your eyes on Jesus. Because he's the one who is providing for us. And I need you to understand that I was sitting in a room with Rick Warren. How many know who Rick Warren is? All right, so I was sitting in a room with Rick Warren one time, and he said, pastors, he said, the church I need you to hear this. The church does not pay your salary. And I was like, how does that work? And he's like, no, the Lord pays your salary. And if you walk as if the church pays your salary, you'll always walk in fear of the church. And it changed my whole life. I was like, you're right. He's like, it's no different for them. It's no different for them. Like you and what you have because the Lord has allowed you to produce it. The skills, the abilities, the talents that you have, those things are a gift from God that God has given to you and allows you to generate those things. When we stop believing our boss is the one that makes our paycheck, the Bible tells us that God takes the heart of a wicked king and a godly king, and he directs the river of the current of their life in his will. God is in control, not the circumstances of our lives. God is in control. And when you're able to come to that realization, it frees you and you're not afraid